if you want to make this into a positive, you can, sorry. Okay, I'm good. Make a donation, support them. At the very least, maybe we can show the world that not all Americans are like this jackhole here, this dentist, the top dentist.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, strange values in the liberal media these days. Joining us now to talk about all this on the panel is Jane Velez-Mitchell, founder of JaneUnchained.com, author of the New York Times bestseller Exposed, The Secret Life of Jodi Arias, and Stacy Washington, host of Stacy on the Right show. And check out stacyontheright.com. All right, of course, we've talked about this lion and shot in Zimbabwe. I'm going to have a gimme 5 on the end of this hour. The lion Cecil was shot. It was a 13-year-old. It was like an iconic lion in Zimbabwe, and this American dentist went there and paid money to be able to kill it and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a terrible thing. I have a dog. I love animals. I had a cat once. I mean, I had goldfish. But I think our priorities are a little wrong. I didn't see, Jane, Jimmy Kimmel, I'm only choking up because of something in my throat. I didn't see Jimmy Kimmel choke up over the little babies being killed in the womb and their organs being removed and sold by Planned Parenthood. I didn't see him cry over Gosnell in the trial. But this is what moves him.
Oh, please. I mean, that's like saying, oh, you can't talk about Deflategate because there are babies dying. We can talk about anything we want. These are sentient beings. This animal was tortured. He was hit with a bow and then staggered around for 40 hours before they finally shot him and then decapitated him. This dentist needs to be prosecuted. I'd like to see him extradited to Zimbabwe and face justice there. I'd like to see the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service ban all imports of lions. And I'd like people who are outraged about this to look in the mirror and ask themselves, what animals am I co-signing the death sentence for? There are 9 billion farm animals, cows, pigs, chickens,
all right,
we're supposed
to kill farm animals. Give
Let
me a break.
Let me tell you something.
Right,
I haven't eaten an animal in 18 years, and I'm doing just fine.
All right, good for you. You know, Stacy, if only I knew anybody on the left who had half the passion that Jane just expressed for the lion, for the baby. You talk about the lion suffered. Little babies who have arms and fingers and toes and smile crushed to death in the womb, and then they take out their organs and sell them. I mean, to compare the two is vomitous is, I think, a word Kimmel used.
Well, I have to say, I watched the clip with Jimmy Kimmel, and when he started tearing up, I felt nauseous because we're talking about one lion. Yes, it was a research lion. It was named, and it was a part of a culture over there for tourists. And it is unfortunate that this individual was with a tourist hunting company that didn't follow the rules and lured him out, and that he went through all of that. So, yes, the dentist should be prosecuted if he broke law.
Please, he's done this before.
Go ahead, Stacy. Let Stacy go.
We can't talk about this for 2 days and take all of the attention away from the real abomination, the real genocidal, homicidal, depraved, indifferent actions of Planned Parenthood. And they're in cohort with our government, spending $78 million a year on body parts, human body parts that they're harvesting to the detriment of women. They're having these babies turned around so they're breached so they can harvest their organs intact so they can sell them for $100 or $300.
Jane, that doesn't bother you, Jane?
Wait a second. You're saying we can't talk about anything other than Planned Parenthood. In other words, we can't talk about Deflategate. That's an issue that should not be discussed because it involves football.
No, there's no analogy there,
No,
Jane.
there is an analogy there.
Who died or what died in Deflategate?
Then it should be even less of a topic. We're talking about sentient beings that are being slaughtered by the billions on this planet that have the emotional development of young children. And how dare you dismiss that and say that we have no right to discuss that? They're voiceless. They can't speak for themselves.
Jane, you just described every one of the tens of millions of babies that are aborted every year. They're voiceless and they can't defend themselves. Wait, Jane, does it bother you about what happened in Planned Parenthood?
Look,
does it, yes or no?
I think that was a setup. And we all know it was a setup. And we all know that was entrapment.
Babies that felt pain were killed. Stacey. Look, let's face it. Those babies can feel pain at 8 weeks. So when they're being turned around in the breech position and having their necks and their pelvises and their limbs crushed so that their livers and their lungs can be harvested intact, by these specimen companies and sold to the United States government, and all of this being done on the taxpayer's dollar, $568 million a year going to Planned Parenthood from me and you, and I don't want it to go there.
Well,
and
then why don't you support family planning so we don't have unwanted pregnancies? You can't have it both ways.
And by the way,
people aren't going to stop having sex. I'll tell you that right now.
Ladies, by the way, more black babies aborted in New York City in the previous year or so than were born,
alive.
Which is pretty sick. Thank you both. Appreciate it. Up next, Ben Stein. But first, Newsmax wants to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silversea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. It's a luxury cruise, because we wouldn't have it any other way, aboard the Silver Wind, and it is the trip of a lifetime. To win, you need to enter. So you go to newsmax.com/sweepstakes. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes. Enter, and we wish you the best of luck.